G'day everyone, and welcome to another video on the Eyre Peninsula. In this video we do what we really love doing best, and that's off-grid camping. And we make our way down to Walker Rocks and we spend a few days down there along the beach camping. From there we go to Sheringa Beach and continue our off-grid camping there. But unfortunately the weather forecast is not the best, so we move from there and make our way down to Port Lincoln and continue to have a look at some tourist sites as we work our way around Lincoln.
I'm Mick, and this is Sally. Together we've been caravanning Australia since the 1980s, and more recently we started to put the videos together just to show you some of what we see out there. There's a lot to see in Australia, and we hope you enjoy what we have here to show you. You can follow us on our trips via the following social media platforms. Leaving Elliston, we started to head north, and that was going to take us back the way we'd already came previously, but with bad weather then and good weather now, we're off to camp at Walker Rock. Once leaving the bitumen, we're on a gravel road, and like all roads that we've been onto on the Eyre Peninsula so far, some of the gravel roads were better than some of the bitumen roads that we have in South Australia. As we arrive near the campground, you've got this dirty big roundabout, and that allows you to take the various directions that will take you to the many campground spots within the area that makes up the Walker Rocks campground.
G'day everyone, and we are in a campground called Walker Rock Campground, and various different areas to camp in here. We've got one that's quite sheltered, only here for one night unfortunately, and I do say unfortunately because it's such a nice spot. You could spend any amount of time here, but we need to keep moving, otherwise we're not going to see everything we want to see before our time runs out, and at this stage just that one night.
The campground that we'd booked on this occasion was called the Egret Nest, and it wasn't the one that we thought we were going to, but as it turned out it was well protected, and the part that we're in here, as you can see, only two camp spots right alongside us that were being used, with one spare, so 3 in total, and very secluded out of the wind. If you have a look here behind the tree, you'll see a path, and that'll take you up over the sand dunes and down onto the lovely beach. It's only a short walk that takes you through the sand dunes. Some of it's a little bit soft sand, but for most part, quite an easy walk. When you get down onto the beach, it's very firm sand, easy to walk on, and very clean sand. It's a credit to the camping areas really that there's no rubbish lying around at all. When the sun's shining like it is today, it really makes these beaches a very good place to come and visit. From the beach that we were just on, you can climb up onto the hard surface area here, and it's only a low cliff, it's not a very high cliff at all, and you can walk around to the next open sandy beach. There are some firm sand hills that you need to cross over, but once again they're only low, and that'll bring you out to the other campground here. As we walked around the area today, we were amazed at the varying numbers of different wildflowers that were growing in abundance within the campground area. All of the camping grounds here that make up the entire camping area are part of the Lake Newlands Conservation Area. Very large beach area here, and no doubt would be very popular during those warmer summer months. The campground that we're looking at now is what is called the Hooded Plover's Nest, and this is a campground that we thought we'd actually booked into, and in reality quite pleased that we didn't, because it's nowhere near as attractive as the one that we were in. As we make our way along the path that takes us back to our campsite from the toilet, we noticed all these wild peach trees, and for the life of me, I've never seen so many wild peach trees in such a confined area, and with all the red fruit on, ready for the picking. It was a slow afternoon today, so it was time for a batch of scones, and for one of our followers that seemed to like our scones or would like to try some, Jeff, we gave you a thought, mate, as we sat down to eat them.
This one's for you, Jeff.
We saved one for you, but Jen had you working in the garden and you never got here.
It was time to hook on the van and move again, and this time we're heading down to Sheringa Beach, and blue skies, perfect day to be out on the road. From the dirt road that brought us in from our last campsite, once back onto the bitumen, it was a sealed road until we got down to the small town of Sheringa, and it was there that we're going to turn off once again onto a dirt road to take us back towards the beach. I keep saying that the dirt roads are in good condition, but all credit to the Eyre Peninsula councils in that area. All the roads that lead you from the bitumen and take you into these camping spots, they are all in good order. With plenty of road signage as we made our way into Sheringa Beach, the location was very easy to find.
G'day everyone, and we are at Sheringa Beach, and here for 2 nights, not very far from where we came from last night at Walker Rock Campground. And tomorrow's supposed to be pretty nasty weather-wise, a lot of wind and a lot of rain coming, so we'll bunker down here tomorrow and head off after our 2 nights.
Tommy Rough Shoal was the name of the campsite that we were in, and there are a number of campsites along Sheringa Beach which you can elect to choose from. This one we thought was going to be the best for us, that kept us protected from the wind. The weather was very kind for us today when we arrived, and that allowed us to go for walks on the beach and have a look around and really explore the place and enjoy the day before the forecasted change was going to arrive the following day. Well laid out campground this one, and like a lot of them, it's all fenced off. As you can see here, there's fences, and the sites are not small, and some of them do vary in sizes though, so you need to be careful which one you pick when you do book. And everything's clean, got toilets and everything that you'd want. At the rear of the toilets there is a designated walkway, and that'll take you up over the dunes and down onto the very beautiful beach. As the water makes its way up on the sand, and walking there barefooted, it gets very, very cold on your feet. It's a nice day outside, but still not warm enough to spend too much time in the water. The blue water was a very beautiful colour, and it was very clear once it broke into a wave as it ran up over the sand. It's October now, and this time last year it was very hot at this time of the year, but now it's quite cool. Nice outside, but still cool, and we do wonder what it would be like here on those warm days. The telltales on the beach that lets us know that someone's been here and a wave is yet to wash it away. While the sun shines, we're going to take the short drive that will take us along and up past the rest of the camping areas here at Sheringa Beach. You don't have to be camping in this area to enjoy this drive. It offers some very great sea views as you make your way along the coast. One caravaner leaving the area after spending some time up on the campground. As we make our way up along the coast here and have a look at some of these campgrounds in the area, there are no toilets. You need to be self-sufficient, and the best part of these campgrounds in this part of the area is these beautiful sea views on offer. As you make your way along these campgrounds, you'll come across this shelter and beach access area, and you can go down to the beach and enjoy the beach via these stairs. Very pretty part of the coastline here, and the sand is very soft, and as you walk along on the sand's dry and your feet do sink down in there, but it really makes me wonder whether there'd be salmon fishing here, because in reality you're not very far from Loch's Well, which is renowned for its salmon fishing. The weatherman was correct with his forecast, and we had a bit of rain overnight, and it was still heavily overcasted the next morning, and with rain on and off during the day we had a total of about 11 mils of rain. With the weather still not being very nice and the rain hanging around and a long weekend coming up, we couldn't get a booking anywhere in a caravan park for shelter, so we continued on and made our way to Port Lincoln. It was an overcast day when we left Sheringa Beach, but the closer we got to Port Lincoln, it appeared as though the better the weather was becoming, and at least it wasn't windy. We had plenty of time to get to Port Lincoln to the caravan park. In fact, we were going to be early, so we pulled over and stopped and had a cup of coffee just to waste a bit of time. Very busy road this morning. Everyone seemed to be on the move. When we arrived at Port Lincoln, it was check-in time at the caravan park, and look at this, we're in a lineup to get into the caravan park. One thing about waiting in line, it allowed that shower of rain to come and go, and then we checked in and started to make our way down to where we were going to set up camp.
So we've arrived at Port Lincoln, and we booked in here at the caravan park. I'm not quite sure of the name, but I'll put the wiki camp link up for you. And at this stage, we're going to be here for 4 nights, just to try and get out of the bad weather that's forecasted and hanging around. So we're really looking forward to our stay here.
The site that we were lucky enough to get onto here at the caravan park is what they call a premium site, and it's also their food van site. And when we arrived and set up on that site, we were very pleased. We thought it was quite a very pretty site to be on. It's a well set up caravan park, this one, and it's got the undercover barbecue here and camp kitchen, and alongside that you've got your cooking area, and then a very, very big recreational room, and it's got great sea views as you're sitting in there and look out through the windows. There is a small jetty there just on the shore from the caravan park, and according to locals, too early for much fish activity at this time of the year. As well as that, a bit of a small break wall, and that forms this protected beach area for the kids during the summer period, and a fish cleaning facility for those fishos. With a bit of uncertainty with the weather, we thought we'd take a risk and take a drive out the Glen Forest Wildlife Park. The road that takes you out to the wildlife park is a mix of bitumen sealed road as well as good form gravel road. The Glen Forest Wildlife Park has been around for many years, and we can recall visiting on one of our trips down here on a previous occasion. This location here is really driven towards the kids, and it's a family orientated experience to come out and visit here. So many animals that you can feed, and they would all be appealing to young children. The Jumbuck's woolshed, it is a working woolshed, although there was no sheep being worked there on the day that we visited. It was very windy during our visit here, and if you have a look at the fur on the koala, it was being pushed very hard by the wind, and it really made you feel sorry for him at times. The young one perched up here in the tree, it really makes you wonder whether he's going to get blown out. The Highland cows, they always come across as being a very docile animal. The lorikeets in the very big walk-in bird aviary, they are very cautious of you, but if you do the right thing and put a bit of seed in your hand, hold your arm out, they will come and sit on your hand and have a feed. The lawned kangaroo enclosure, very large area, and that's very popular with adults and kids alike, but nothing like feeding the kangaroos. Kangaroo's very delicate in the way that it holds my hand, just to make sure that the seed is exactly where he needs it to be. The donkey, everyone's friend, and it doesn't mind a scratch. Some of the bigger animals here on display, they seem to be very friendly, but need to be treated with respect when they get close to the fence. The rabbit and guinea pig enclosures, very popular with the young kids on the day that we were there. There is a very large wooden maze there, and I believe there is an additional fee chargeable should you wish to try and find your way around the maze. Feeding the ostrich, nothing like feeding the kangaroo. This bloke here, he's pretty busy. In the end, he even took the whole bag of seed. The old mill here was built in 1846, and it's the oldest standing building in Port Lincoln. You can climb up the top, and it offers these beautiful views as you look out over the water, as well as Port Lincoln itself. Tasman Terrace in Port Lincoln will take you down along the foreshore, and there's some beautiful lawn and picnicking areas down there. As you make your way along the foreshore, you'll eventually come to the statue of Mackivy Diva, and that's the horse that's won the Melbourne Cup on multiple occasions. Those rain clouds were still hanging around, but that didn't stop us from going up the Winter Hill and having a look at the town from there. On one of the days that we were in Port Lincoln and the weather was a little bit nicer to us, we took a drive out to the marina and have a look at some of the fishing fleets out there, and it must be phenomenal the amount of dollars that's tied up here in the way of fishing boats. From your average size boats to your very large boats, there was just fishing craft everywhere. One vessel here making its way into the marina after being outside, no doubt on a working expedition. The marina with all its boats and the houses here on the water, it's certainly a beautiful part of Port Lincoln to look at.
Well, that's the end of this video, and when we come back with the next video, we'll take up here in Port Lincoln where we left off on this one. And when we do that, we'll be going out to the Lincoln National Park and Whalers Way, amongst various other places, before we move on from Port Lincoln. So until that next video goes up, you take care and look after yourself.